Thank you all so much for inviting us. We do take any excuse we can get to visit State College, and it turns out that this is always the reason we want to come. My dad and mom are here as well. My dad actually walked this campus many, many years ago. I won't say how many, I'm not sure. So we've always been Penn State proud, but now it's so much more than just pride, though. Did you know that many organizations use the term rare when they talk of childhood cancer? I guess our friends and family maybe would have joined in this naive classification if not for this personal journey that we're on now. But what we would like to do is share our story with you all in the hopes that you will then tell someone who is not aware. Tell someone who has no idea how many children are diagnosed with some form of childhood cancer each day. 46. Tell someone who isn't aware how often this monster robs a child of what amounts to 60+ years of life. 7 every day. And for those children that need it, it still takes away precious time. Time that should be spent having sleepovers and playing on the playground. Time that should be spent fighting with their brother or sister over whose turn it is to play the Wii. And time that we would like to tell you about. This time for our family began on a warm Saturday, August 27, 2011. I have to rewind probably about 6 months prior to this date. It was the spring of 2011. Bekah was 5. She had finished her first year of preschool. She was missing preschool for a fever that would end up being a piece of this puzzle. In July, after a great week at the beach with our family, Bekah had a couple tiny cavities filled. She had Novocaine injected in both sides of her mouth, and about a week after this, she still had a very large bruise on one of her cheeks. Another puzzle piece. It went away, but then the biggest piece of our puzzle became visible. We began to gradually notice that Bekah wasn't eating as usual and was looking off, a little pale. A couple weeks of these mentions, and I decided to request some lab work. Maybe she had an iron deficiency. I took her along to an appointment for her big brother Eli, who had an ear infection. Our Dr. Kim, our all-time favorite pediatrician, commented that maybe she looked a little pale, but nothing to be alarmed about. Nothing to make him feel like we needed to rush to the lab to get our blood work done that day. So we left, lab slip in hand, got Eli's medicine and headed home. Bekah would be starting kindergarten in just 6 days, and she was so very excited about this. Being a mom, you dread certain things. Things like shots for your children, dentist visits, the things that aren't pleasant for us as grown-ups either. Those things are even worse when it's your kids. Bekah had already had her fair share of stuff in her almost 6 years of living. She had clogged tear ducts, corrected with a simple surgery when she was only 23 months old, an inpatient hospital stay at 3 years old for MRSA in her right calf, a very odd milk and egg allergy after breaking out in horrible hives, determined by lab work, but only lasting 1 to 2 months. She was 4 years old. A mouthful of dental work needed after what we can only guess was the result of the strong and prolonged use of antibiotics for the MRSA. Did it affect the growth and development of her teeth? Were all of these instances more pieces to a puzzle that was about to be revealed? So, as a mom who dreaded things like lab work, especially for your kids, I also don't like to put things off. So, since Nat was off work that Saturday and able to hang out with the boys at home, I called my mom to go along and be my support to get through the needle stick. Yes, I said my support. Bekah did what she does best. She amazed me with her bravery, and in that moment, I never in a million years would have guessed it was just the tip of an iceberg. I took her to TJ Maxx afterwards to pick out a little something for her bravery, a treasure box that she puts her seashells in. We arrived home that morning in time to make tacos for lunch. It took me a long time to make tacos again, by the way. I had gone outside to hang up some laundry. I heard the phone ring and I raced to answer it. My heart lodged in my throat when I saw Hannah Repeats on the caller ID. I hadn't gotten to it in time. I was panicking, but hesitated to even say anything to Nat, my husband, who was downstairs and hadn't heard the phone ring. I was probably overreacting anyway, right? I did try to call back, but this was before extended office hours on Saturdays, and I had no luck. I only had to wait 20 minutes for my heart to go from being stuck in my throat to literally landing on the floor. As I stood in the kitchen, the kids all watching SpongeBob in the living room, Nat watching NASCAR in the basement, I frantically wrote down words like counts, hemoglobin, platelets, all way off. I couldn't bring myself to ask what all that likely meant. My brain already knew, but my heart was unwilling to listen. I heard the doctor tell me to pack a suitcase, some of Bekah's favorite things, and wait for a call from Hershey Med. They would be getting a bed ready for her. I asked when. She told me now. I feel like everything from that moment moved in slow motion. I didn't want to go downstairs and tell Nat. I didn't want to call my mom. I didn't want to call Nat's mom. I just wanted to freeze time. As I stopped to look at my 3 kids watching TV in the living room, not wanting to stop and kiss them because I knew that what I had to go tell Nat needed done with just the 2 of us. There was no need to worry our kids yet. I truly just wanted to stop time. I walked down the basement steps and just looked at Nat and told him the pediatrician just called. I said, we need to call your parents and see if the boys can come up. He asked why. I told him what she had said about her counts being off and that we needed to bring her to Hershey. The blank stare and questions that followed were all things I had no answer for. I knew he was thinking the same thing I was. Neither of us wanted to say it out loud, though. Later, Matt would tell me that all that kept going through his head were the words to the Rascal Flatts song, Skin. Right now, I want to share 4 words with you, and you guys all know what they are. I want to share with you how they're defined in the dictionary and how our family would define them in terms of their impact on us. We aren't here to tell you the history of the 4 Diamonds Fund. You all know that. You all know the services they provide. But for us, it goes way beyond the expenses that are covered and beyond the services that are provided. Courage. The strength of mind that makes one able to meet danger and difficulties with firmness. Courage for me meant sitting behind my daughter on that big hospital bed just hours after arriving at the hospital. I cried my silent tears. I heard those words, Bekah has leukemia, and knowing that I had to show her what it looked like to be so scared, but so unbelievably full of hope and faith at that moment. Wisdom, knowing, knowledge, and the ability to use it to help oneself or others. Book knowledge only gets you so far in this world. And if I can give you all any advice, it would simply be that if you can put yourself in someone else's shoes, try to feel what they are feeling, you truly have all the wisdom you need. I know lots of statistics on childhood cancer, but do you know what makes me wiser than I ever could have imagined? Knowing that my daughter can look cancer in the eye and stare it down. She may blink every once in a while, but she never backs down. Honesty, the quality of state of being honest, free from fraud or trickery. Some people may question me and how much I share with my now 7-year-old daughter, but I can tell you that she knows I don't keep things from her, and she doesn't keep things from me. I know when she tells me she has a headache, it's not because she doesn't want to do something, it's because she has a headache. She got sick this morning. Another thing I didn't know, should we come or shouldn't we come? She's up there because she wanted to come, and she told me in so many words that we need to go. She knows what it looks like when a child dies from cancer. She knows what it looks like when her friends of hers she don't feel well. Honesty isn't always pretty, but it is a beautiful thing to possess. Strength, the quality of being strong, having great power, healthy, robust. And strength. Well, every time I look at my little girl, it's so hard to see her before she was sick. She is a different person, with a different personality. She still tries to get away with stuff. She still has a very curious nature about all things rocks, cats, and pain. But she also sees things like butterflies, sunsets, and old photos with the heart of an old soul. That wisdom, yeah, she's got it. And her strength to face what she does every day brings me to my knees at times. The Four Diamonds Fund has provided our family with peace of mind during a journey where it would be so easy to wander off path. It would be so easy to succumb to fear and doubt, but you all have become the heart and soul of this journey. You all are why we stay on the narrow, winding path without a map to tell us where we are headed. You know, many families and fellow childhood cancer moms that I know have been told they will likely suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder because of the reliving they do, of the many moments where we wonder just how we can do this for one more minute. She's the reason. Bekah, her brothers Eli and Josh, and Matt, we do it together. Maybe with the help of a small army called the Four Diamonds Fund, Penn State students, Penn State alumni, THON, and the wonderful staff and volunteers of Hershey Medical, our family, friends, and other families we have met. When we attended our first THON in 2012, when Bekah's immune system was at its most compromised, when we only knew what it meant to take this minute by minute, because being home one minute and inpatient the next is the world we lived in. Well, for an amazing almost 24 hours, I watched my 10-year-old boys and 6-year-old daughter live and laugh and be kids like I hadn't seen them do in 6 months. 7 months ago, we had the honor of attending our second THON. Bekah had a new do, but it was one she chose this time around. Bekah had lost her hair not once, not twice, but 3 times during treatment because of the chemo. Well, this 4th time, right before THON, she chose to lose the locks that had been growing, so a friend wouldn't feel sad. I look at my daughter, and in the past month, we have, what is it, Bekah? 54 days? Is that right? We've got 54 days left until her end of treatment, and about a month ago, her hair started coming out again. So, I don't know how to tell you guys, but study for those tests and quizzes, but don't sweat the small stuff, okay? Because you got so many little kids that look up to you and look forward to spending those hours with you that weekend and so many other events that you guys have. And that is what my family has taken away from this journey. One young boy shared his story of a night on a quest for the 4 diamonds of honesty, courage, wisdom, strength. He gave this amazing story as a gift to his family. His mom and dad had to do the unthinkable. They had to say goodbye to their child. Little did they know what would become of this story. When Penn State students took the Four Diamonds Fund as their sole beneficiary of their efforts, the journey of every family treated at Penn State Children's Hospital for pediatric cancer would become a little more bearable and a lot more brighter. To Christopher Millard, his sister, his father Charles, and mother Irma, to all the students, past, present, and future, to our oh so very wonderful organization of HEAL, helping every angel live, who has given our family so many reasons to smile and keep going. To all of you who have kept the Four Diamonds very much what Christopher would have wanted them to be, beacons to these children and their families, the Rebecca Tuffy family.